It's been a busy day with small announcements, but they add up to mean quite a bit for your upcoming trip to Disneyland. This is D4E-Ticket News. What's up guys, it's Jordan. So it's actually a good thing I decided to wait a little bit on our video this week because today is when all this news dropped at the Disneyland Resort. And at first glance, I know that hasn't been getting a ton of reaction because they all seem like such small things, but they actually will really impact a lot of people's trips and how they vacation. So let's start things off from the bottom to the top. The smallest announcement that they have made is actually about ice. It may not seem like a big deal, but up until now you're actually allowed to carry loose ice or dry ice even into the parks if you would like, but they are no longer going to be permitting that. Beginning really today, they are no longer allowing loose ice or dry ice into the parks. Disneyland is also going to be limiting the size of strollers that are going to be permitted inside the parks. It's not by a great deal. I'll have more information, links in the description about the exact dimensions they're looking for, but it does limit the behemoth strollers that are going to be allowed in the parks. They're finding that they're really just becoming more of a nuisance for crowd flow and crowd control than anything else, and so those are going to be more limited. They will be offering new tandem strollers for rent at the entrance to the parks if you really need them and you don't have access to a tandem stroller yourself, but the larger strollers are no longer going to be permitted. Also, now no longer allowed in the parks, wagon strollers. Wagons have not been allowed in the parks for a very long time, but now those, very popular collapsible wagon strollers, those are now not going to be allowed in the parks either. I think that's actually kind of a good thing because they also are getting really in the way. People are dragging it behind them. They're really stacking them high and wide, and they're just kind of getting in the way and making a nuisance for stroller parking, and so they are no longer going to be permitted in the parks either. This to me is a big deal, and you may be in this target demographic, I'm not sure, but there's another big change that came. A very long time ago, it used to be that you were allowed to smoke in the parks as long as you didn't smoke in line, but you could smoke anywhere else. Then they limited it to just smoking areas. There were about 2 or 3 smoking areas in the parks, in each park. Then they whittled that down till eventually right now there's just 1 smoking area in Disneyland and 1 in California Adventure. Well, as of May 1st, they are no longer going to be allowing smoking in the parks at all. I think that this is actually a really, really good thing and actually really on point for California. A lot of public places in California are already smoke-free, and so Disneyland will join that long list. Right now, the smoking locations are on Big Thunder Trail at Disneyland and by Grizzly Peak in California Adventure. Right now, those are kind of out of the way places, but the one in Disneyland is right across from an entrance for Galaxy's Edge, and I can only imagine how much people are going to be complaining about the smoke when they're having to wait in line to get into Galaxy's Edge. And so I think that's one thing that kind of spurred them to make this decision. This will also definitely include Downtown Disney in the smoke-free zones, and there are reports from Mice Chat that says that it would also include the Esplanade between the 2 parks. I'm not 100% certain about that one, because that seems a bit far-reaching to tell people that just because you smoke, you actually have to get out of the security areas altogether. I don't really know. We'll have to wait until May 1st to see for certain, but that's what the reports say. For quite some time, Disney has been working on a brand new parking structure right next to the Mickey & Friends parking structure by Downtown Disney. Mickey & Friends is the largest parking structure and has thousands of parking spots available, but it's also the one that tends to fill up the most. And so they've been working on a brand new parking structure. Well, today they announced that it's going to be the Pixar Pals parking structure. They even released a graphic that had all of the names of each of the levels in the parking structure. This one is nice because it does have a walkway directly from the parking structure to Downtown Disney and the rest of the parks. But this is really going to be a godsend for those of you who drive to Disneyland or have to drive from your hotel or wherever you're staying to the parks, because this is going to add 5,000 new parking spaces alone to the Downtown Disney area. Also, the Toy Story parking lot, which is out on Harbor, They are actually going to be moving some of the cast member parking to other places around the resort and opening up 2,000 new parking spaces in that lot. So that's 7,000 new parking spaces they're hoping to open up soon. Hopefully by the time Galaxy's Edge opens. Also at the Toy Story parking lot, they have announced that they will begin offering a security screening at the Toy Story parking lot before you get on the shuttles to the Eastern Gate during peak times. And that's to kind of cut down the wait times at the security checkpoints at the Eastern Gate. So that's also like really big news to hopefully save you some time, and also just something to be aware of if you do end up parking over at the Toy Story lot. Some of you may not agree that this is e-ticket news, but I'm going with it. They announced today that the 3D film Mickey's PhilharMagic will be opening in April, next month, at the Sunset Showcase Theater in California Adventure. That's the theater in Hollywoodland where they have been showing a whole bunch of film previews. Now it's actually going to be an attraction again, which is what it was originally built for when it was first opened. For those of you who are not familiar with Mickey's PhilharMagic, it actually exists in several other Disney theme parks. I am familiar with it because it's at the Magic Kingdom. It's a really, really cute 3D show where Donald is chasing Mickey's sorcerer hat, and he ends up going through a whole bunch of scenes from classic Disney movies, and you hear all the music, and it's a fun, enjoyable experience. They are claiming that this is all part of the Get Your Ears On celebration at the Disneyland Resort all year long. However, I think that there are some other things at play here. First of all, they have at this point been using 3 different theaters at once for different film previews, and it's getting a bit much. They've been using the Sunset Showcase Theater, a little bit the Opera House on Main Street, and the Tomorrowland Theater. And that's a lot of theaters to be showing previews in, and I think guests are kind of getting like a little frustrated that this is all these are used for. So this will be another attraction that they can add in. Also, with the closure of A Bug's Land, there are fewer things for families to enjoy in California Adventure, because that was the whole point of A Bug's Land. And luckily, Mickey's PhilharMagic is family friendly, and so this is yet another family attraction that can be added to the ranks of California Adventure. And lastly, for those who have been complaining that California Adventure is just not Disney enough and it's too full of Pixar, this is something else that's Mickey. It's Mickey and Friends themed. And so there's even more that they can say, no, we've got classic Disney and California Adventure too. It's not just Pixar. It's a really cute movie. I don't know right now if they're planning on keeping it forever or if it's going to be a limited time run. I'm personally hoping forever because an attraction is better than nothing. And the Sunset Showcase Theater, although it's nice to have these previews and there's some really cool things and props set up that you can look at, it's not exactly the most, crowd gathering thing. You just go see it once and you're done. Whereas for something like Mickey's PhilharMagic, you could go see it multiple times and you're gonna have a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see what they do because there's actually supposed to be some theatrical effects that they employ in the ride as well, but I don't think that they're planning on putting those in the theater. Maybe they are, I don't believe that they will. So maybe it'll be like a slightly edited version just for the California version. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. So small announcements that have been made all at once but make a huge impact on how you plan your trip. So you have to be thinking now as you pack, and if you do smoke, then you have to be thinking about how that's going to be affected by your trip. Those of us who don't smoke are kind of breathing a literal sigh of relief. Sorry, but I'm actually quite grateful for that. Anyway, so I'll get more information to you guys. You can find more on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts as more becomes available and we are able to consolidate it a little bit better for you. But in the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep getting our videos and keep getting these updates and things like that. If you have any questions or suggestions for videos that you would like to see, make sure you leave those in the comments below because we'd love to hear from you. And you visit us for our website. And you guys have been awesome. Hope you guys are enjoying everything and we will see you guys next week. Bye.